Let me ask you this. What's the difference between the rich and everyone else? What do they know that others don't? What do they practice that others won't? I spent years watching successful people, studying their habits and learning their ways. There are certain rules, principles of success that wealthy people never break. And if you want to join their ranks, neither should you. You see, wealth isn't an accident. It's not luck or circumstance or being born into the right family, though I won't deny those things can help. Real wealth comes from understanding and applying specific principles day after day, year after year, the kind of principles I'm going to share with you today. Some people spend their whole lives wondering why wealth eludes them. They work hard, they try different things, but somehow financial success remains just out of reach. Others seem to attract prosperity with seemingly little effort. I'm here to tell you there's no mystery to it. The difference comes down to these 5 rules I'm about to share. These aren't get-rich-quick schemes. They aren't flashy investment strategies or secret shortcuts. These are the fundamental rules that govern wealth creation, rules that have worked throughout history and continue to work today. What is wealth anyway? Is it just having lots of money? Is it possessions? I suggest to you that real wealth is much more than that. Real wealth is having the freedom to live life on your terms. It's having options. It's having security. And yes, it's having the resources to make meaningful contributions to causes you care about. The truly wealthy understand this. They know that money itself isn't the end goal. It's what money allows you to do, to be, to have, and to give that matters. With that perspective in mind, let's talk about how to create that kind of wealth in your life. Why do some people succeed financially while others struggle? It isn't intelligence. I've known brilliant people who can barely pay their bills. It isn't opportunity. We live in the most opportunity-rich time in human history. The difference comes down to understanding and applying certain principles consistently over time. These 5 rules I'm about to share with you are followed religiously by virtually every wealthy person I've ever met or studied. They might not call them by these names, but they practice them nonetheless. And if you want what they have, you need to do what they do. The wealthy never blame others for their financial situation. Never. This might be the biggest difference between the rich and everyone else. The average person blames the economy, their boss, their spouse, their parents, the government, anyone but themselves for their financial circumstances. The wealthy, they look in the mirror. They say, if it's to be, it's up to me. They take 100% responsibility for their financial lives. I remember talking with a successful businessman years ago. He told me something I'll never forget. He said, Jim, the day I stopped blaming others and took full responsibility for my financial life was the day my life began to change. See, as long as you believe someone else is responsible for your financial situation, you give away your power to change it. If it's the economy's fault, what can you do except wait for the economy to improve? If it's your boss's fault for not paying you enough, what can you do except hope for a raise? But when you take full responsibility, everything changes. Suddenly, you're in control. You recognize that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. You can control your choices. You can control your actions. The wealthy understand that their financial life is the sum total of the decisions they've made. Not some of the decisions, all of them. The small daily choices about spending, the bigger choices about career and investment, all of it. This isn't just philosophy, it's practical. When you take responsibility, you start asking different questions. Instead of, why is this happening to me? You ask, what can I do about this? Instead of, who's going to take care of me? You ask, how can I take care of myself? Let me give you a practical example. 2 people lose their jobs in an economic downturn. The first person says, this economy is terrible. The government should do something. It's not fair. They spend their days watching TV, complaining to friends, and waiting for things to improve. The second person says, this is challenging, but it's my responsibility to find a way forward. They update their skills, network aggressively, look for opportunities others miss, and perhaps even start a small side business to generate income while they search for their next position. Who do you think will be better off financially a year later, 5 years later, 10 years later? The answer is obvious. Taking responsibility means recognizing that your financial education is up to you. Nobody taught you about money in school. That's unfortunate, but it's your responsibility now to learn. Your parents didn't model good financial habits. That's challenging, but it's your responsibility now to develop better ones. The wealthy don't wait for someone else to show them the way. They find mentors. They read books. They take courses. They experiment. They learn from their mistakes. They keep growing until they master the skills of building wealth. So ask yourself, where in your financial life have you been blaming others? Where have you been waiting for someone else to solve your problems? Where have you been acting like a victim rather than an owner? These are tough questions. Answer them honestly. Then make the decision right now to take full responsibility for your financial life. No more excuses. No more blame. No more waiting for someone else to save you. This one shift from victim to owner can change everything. It's the foundation upon which all other financial success is built. Here's a truth that might surprise you. Most wealthy people are remarkably frugal. Not cheap, frugal. There's a difference. Cheap is refusing to spend money even when it makes sense to do so. Frugal is being intentional about your spending, focusing on value and avoiding waste. The wealthy understand a fundamental principle that escapes many others. It's not how much you make that determines your wealth. It's how much you keep. I've known people who made millions and ended up broke. I've known others who never made huge incomes but accumulated significant wealth. The difference? The latter group lived below their means, consistently, year after year. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, still lives in the same house he bought in 1958 for $31,500.00. Sam Walton, founder of Walmart, drove an old pickup truck even when he was worth billions. These aren't aberrations. They reflect a mindset common among the truly wealthy. Living below your means creates a gap between what you earn and what you spend. This gap is the foundation of wealth building. The wider the gap, the faster you can accumulate wealth. Now, there are two ways to widen this gap: earn more or spend less. The wealthy focus on both, but they recognize that controlling spending is often easier and more immediately actionable than increasing income. This doesn't mean living a life of deprivation. It means being intentional about your spending. It means distinguishing between needs and wants. It means asking yourself, is this purchase moving me toward my financial goals or away from them? The wealthy understand the true cost of things. They know that a dollar spent isn't just a dollar gone. It's also the future growth of that dollar lost forever. When you understand the power of compound interest, you see spending in a completely different light. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you're 30 years old and you're considering buying a new car for $30,000. 0 cents, even though your current car is perfectly functional. If you invested that $30, 0 cents instead, and earned an average annual return of 8%, by the time you're 65, that $30, 0 cents would have grown to over $400, 0 cents. That's the true cost of the car, not just the sticker price, but all the future wealth you're giving up. The wealthy make these calculations automatically. They weigh the immediate pleasure of a purchase against the long-term benefits of saving and investing. And more often than not, they choose the latter. Living below your means requires knowing what your means actually are. This means creating and following a spending plan. The wealthy know exactly what's coming in and what's going out. They track their expenses. They plan their spending. They set financial goals and make sure their daily decisions align with those goals. They also avoid debt for consumption. The wealthy use debt strategically to acquire assets that appreciate or generate income, but they avoid debt for depreciating assets or everyday expenses. They understand that paying interest on things that don't increase in value is a fast track to financial struggle. One of the most counterintuitive aspects of this rule is that the wealthy continue to live below their means, even as their income grows. Many people immediately increase their spending when they get a raise or bonus. The wealthy resist this temptation. They maintain or even widen the gap between income and expenses as their earnings increase. So ask yourself, are you living below your means? Do you know exactly what's coming in and what's going out each month? Are you saving and investing at least 10-20% of your income? If not, this is an area that needs your immediate attention. The good news is that unlike many aspects of personal finance, this one is entirely within your control. You can decide today to start living below your means. You can create a spending plan. You can track your expenses. You can identify areas to cut back. You can commit to save and invest a specific percentage of your income. The wealthy understand something that escapes many others. Time is the greatest asset in wealth building. They start investing early. They invest consistently. And they let the miracle of compound interest work for them over decades. Albert Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, saying, "He who understands it, earns it. He who doesn't, pays it." The wealthy are firmly in the first category. And let me explain why this matters so much. When you invest, your money earns returns. When you reinvest those returns, they start earning returns too. Over time, this creates a snowball effect where an increasingly large portion of your wealth growth comes not from your original contributions, but from the returns on your return. Consider this example. If you invest $5,000, 0 cents per year from age 25 to 65 and earn an average annual return of 8%, you'll end up with about $1,500,000, 0 cents. But if you wait until age 35 to start investing the same amount with the same return, you'll end up with only about $680, 0 cents. That 10-year delay costs you more than half of your potential wealth. The wealthy don't just understand this intellectually, they act on it. They start investing as early as possible, even if they can only invest small amounts at first. They recognize that the habit of investing is initially more important than the amount invested. But it's not just about starting early, it's also about consistency. The wealthy invest systematically, often automating their investments so they happen without requiring constant decisions or willpower. They contribute to their investment accounts every month, every quarter, every year, regardless of what the market is doing. The wealthy also understand the importance of proper asset allocation, spreading investments across different types of assets to manage risk and optimize returns. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. They build diversified portfolios aligned with their financial goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon. What the wealthy don't do is chase get-rich-quick schemes or try to time the market. They don't panic sell during downturns or go all in during booms. They maintain a long-term perspective, understanding that wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. They also focus on what they can control. They can't control market returns, but they can control how much they invest, how consistently they invest, how diversified their investments are, and how much they pay in fees and taxes. So that's where they direct their attention. The wealthy create systems for automatic wealth creation. They set up automatic transfers to investment accounts. They contribute to retirement plans through payroll deductions. They reinvest dividends, and capital gains. They structure their financial lives so that investing happens automatically without requiring constant attention or decision making. So ask yourself, have you started investing? Are you investing consistently? Have you set up systems for automatic wealth creation? Are your investments properly diversified? Are you maintaining a long-term perspective despite market fluctuations? If you answered no to any of these questions, you're missing out on one of the most powerful wealth-building tools available. Start today with whatever amount you can. The key is to begin the process and establish the habit. Remember, the best time to start investing was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. Here's something I've observed across decades of studying successful people. The wealthy are perpetual students. They never stop learning. They recognize that their most valuable asset isn't their money, it's their mind. This continuous self-education takes many forms. They read books, they attend seminars, they listen to podcasts and audiobooks, they seek out mentors, they join mastermind groups. But it goes beyond financial education. The wealthy understand that increasing their value in the marketplace increases their earning potential. So they constantly work to develop new skills, deepen their expertise, and expand their capabilities. Think about this. Your income is largely determined by the value you create for others. The more value you can create, and the more people you can create it for, the more you can earn. Continuous education is how you increase your value creation capability. I often say that formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. The wealthy embody this principle. They take responsibility for their education rather than expecting others to teach them what they need to know. This is especially important in our rapidly changing world. The skills that are valuable today might be obsolete tomorrow. The wealthy stay ahead of these changes through continuous learning. They anticipate trends rather than reacting to them. They position themselves to benefit from emerging opportunities. Financial education is a particular focus. The wealthy study money, how it works, how to manage it, how to invest it, how to protect it. They understand that this knowledge isn't taught in traditional educational systems, so they must acquire it themselves. The wealthy approach this education strategically. They don't just consume information randomly. They identify specific areas where increased knowledge will yield the greatest returns, and they focus their learning efforts there. For instance, if you're planning to invest in real estate, you might deeply study that specific area, reading books, talking to successful real estate investors, attending relevant seminars, and perhaps even finding a mentor in the field. This targeted education is far more valuable than a general, unfocused consumption of financial content. The wealthy also apply what they learn. They recognize that knowledge without action is worthless. They implement new strategies, test new approaches, and continuously refine their methods based on results. This application often involves making mistakes and learning from them. The wealthy don't expect perfection, especially when trying something new. They expect missteps and see them as valuable feedback rather than failures. So ask yourself, what are you currently learning? How are you investing in your personal and professional development? What books are you reading? What courses are you taking? Who are you learning from? If you can't answer these questions specifically, you're neglecting a crucial wealth-building practice. Start today. Identify one area where increased knowledge would significantly benefit your financial life and commit to becoming an expert in that area. Remember, what you know determines what you earn. Invest in yourself, and the returns will last a lifetime. The final rule might surprise you. It's not about money directly, but it has an enormous impact on your financial success. The wealthy understand that no one builds wealth entirely on their own. They recognize the power of relationships in creating opportunities, providing support, and accelerating progress. There's an old saying, your net worth is determined by your network. The wealthy take this seriously. They intentionally build relationships with people who inspire them, challenge them, connect them to opportunities, and support their goals. This isn't about manipulative networking or using people. It's about creating genuine, mutually beneficial relationships. The wealthy approach relationships with a giving mindset, looking for ways to create value for others without immediate expectation of return. They understand that the most valuable relationships are built on trust, and trust is built through consistent, authentic behavior over time. They keep their promises. They maintain confidences. They show up when needed. They act with integrity even when no one is watching. The wealthy seek out relationships with people who are ahead of them on the path to success. They find mentors who can guide them, share wisdom from experience, and help them avoid costly mistakes. They recognize that learning from someone else's experience is far more efficient than learning everything through trial and error. They also build peer relationships with others who are on similar journeys. These relationships provide mutual support, accountability, and the opportunity to exchange ideas and strategies. Mastermind groups, where people come together regularly to help each other solve problems and pursue opportunities, are a common practice among the wealthy. The wealthy are thoughtful about the relationships they maintain. They recognize that they are influenced by the people they spend time with, so they choose their associates carefully. They limit time with negative, cynical people who drain their energy and undermine their ambitions. Instead, they seek out positive, growth-oriented individuals who elevate their thinking and reinforce their commitment to their goals. The wealthy also understand the importance of reputation in building valuable relationships. They know that how they treat others affects how people perceive them and whether others will want to associate with them. They build reputations for fairness, generosity, and reliability. In business specifically, the wealthy recognize that relationships often determine opportunities. They build connections with potential clients, partners, investors, and team members. They maintain these relationships even when there's no immediate benefit, knowing that the value might emerge years later. So ask yourself, how intentional are you about building and nurturing valuable relationships? Are you investing time in connecting with people who can help you grow? Are you actively looking for ways to create value for others? Are you maintaining a reputation that makes others want to associate with you? If you're not satisfied with your answers, start making changes today. Identify one relationship you want to strengthen or one new relationship you want to establish, and take a concrete step toward that goal. Remember that relationship building isn't about quick transactions. It's about long-term investment in connections that create mutual benefit over time. These 5 rules: taking full responsibility, living below your means, investing early and consistently, continuously educating yourself, and building valuable relationships form the foundation of financial success. They are practiced by virtually all wealthy individuals, whether consciously or unconsciously. What's remarkable about these rules is their timelessness. They worked a century ago, they work today, they'll work a century from now. The specific applications might change with technology and economic conditions, but the principles remain constant. They're also universal. They work regardless of your starting point, your background, or your current financial situation. Whether you're starting with nothing or already have substantial resources, following these rules will improve your financial trajectory. But knowing these rules isn't enough. Many people know what they should do, but fail to act on that knowledge. The difference between knowing and doing is what separates those who wish for wealth from those who achieve it. So I challenge you, don't just nod in agreement with these principles. Don't just file them away as interesting ideas. Implement them. Start today. Take one specific action in each area that moves you closer to wealth. Take responsibility by identifying one financial issue you've been blaming on others and making a plan to address it yourself. Live below your means by creating a spending plan that ensures you're saving at least 10% of your income. Invest early and consistently by setting up an automatic investment plan, even if the amount is small at first. Educate yourself by choosing one book on personal finance or investing and committing to read it in the next 30 days. Build valuable relationships by reaching out to someone you admire and looking for ways to create value for them. These actions alone won't make you wealthy overnight, but they'll start you on the path. And if you continue following these rules consistently over time, your financial situation will improve, gradually at first, then dramatically as the effects compound. Remember, wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about options. It's about security. It's about the ability to contribute to causes you care about. By following these rules, you're not just building financial resources, you're building a better life for yourself and those you care about. The choice is yours. You can continue doing what you've always done and get the results you've always gotten, or you can adopt the rules the wealthy follow and begin moving toward the financial future you desire. What will you choose?